Disneyland guests were treated to an amazing surprise as it seems like Johnny Depp may have come to the parks and played Jack Sparrow. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place, and here with me is my Wookiee co-pilot Vash Skye. But joining us today is Bob from Berry Place 28. Bob, how you doing today?
I'm great. How are you guys?
I'm just doing really good, especially after you told us about your recent trip to the Walt Disney, not the Walt Disney Resort. I always do this, the Disneyland Resort over there, the older one, Walt's Park over there.
I'm on the other side.
That's right, the other side of the Mississippi, where they're allowed to talk about Marvel in the parks. Before we get started, I want everybody to know that Berry Place 28, you need to be going over there and checking out this content. We will be talking about it here, but the entire live stream, if you want to go see the parks as they were on May the 5th. By the way, that is Cinco de Mayo. If you're one of those Star Wars fans that thinks that May the 4th is Star Wars Day and it's Revenge of the 5th, no, I defy you. It should be Revenge of the 6th. But here we are talking about something amazing that happened on the 5th. Bob, where did you go on the 5th?
Well, I was at the Disneyland Resort, and I was planning on doing a live stream because I was actually covering what they call Bats Day in the park, which is basically a lot of goth people having fun in the fun park. So I was covering that, and I was doing my morning live stream, and just so happened that one of the friends I was with had ordered some beignets over at the Mint Julep Bar. And so as we were heading over there and going into New Orleans, I heard a voice that I recognized almost immediately. And I was so sure that it was a person who I thought I was hearing that I immediately took out my other phone to actually do a vertical video so that I could actually do a short in case it was the person I thought it was. And so
that's right. You went to the park to see people in heavy makeup, and then you ended up seeing someone
covered on his face and around his body. A little too much, I thought, but at the same time, I was just in awe, and I was like,
people who are watching this video to see whether or not this is actually Johnny Depp. There are so many things. There are some really good Johnny Depp impersonators out there, and back when Pirates of the Caribbean came out, was that like 2002 or something like that?
Yeah, that was a long time ago.
Everybody had a Johnny Depp a Jack Sparrow interpretation here. But let's take a look, because whether or not you think this is the real Captain Jack Sparrow, or maybe it's what's her name, Penelope Cruz, just doing a lookalike, like in that one. I think it's the fourth one. Anyways, let's check it out.
Which one do you like? How do you do that mind thingy where you change someone's mind? All right, I'm gonna try it.
Say whatever you want. Do whatever you want.
There's so much going on here. And we talked about this a little bit. This interaction is not a standard character interaction from so many perspectives here. Bob, you already talked about some of it, so please just go ahead and let people.
Whoever the character is, they stay within that era. Unusual for a cast member to recognize the other person and what they're doing, but he was really focusing on the whole Jedi thing, and he brought up the Jedi thing. Typically, cast members don't always do that. I mean, they do, go off, and do their own thing sometimes, but he was focusing on the whole, hey, how do you do that whole Jedi mind thing? And then goes to try it, which I thought was really interesting, because typically they don't try to do things like that.
Yeah, the other thing is keep the IP separate, especially in the parks.
Right. I mean, he stays in New Orleans. He talks about pirates. He talks about things related to the movies. That's typically what, the character of Jack Sparrow does. And in this case, he was kind of going off script a little bit. The other thing is that when he was interacting with people, even my friend, when I went to take a photo, the two of them together, I mentioned, oh, I took a video. I didn't get a shot, an actual photo. And he immediately walked off. He didn't try to just come back. He didn't try to take another photo. Cast members typically, oh, you didn't get the photo? Let's capture that magic moment. Let's make sure that we get that photo. He was off and taking off. He wasn't staying around. And that's unlike what a normal cast member would do.
Right. Usually you get some kind of apologetic statement. If a cast member in a character costume has to go away, there's a handler there to explain to the guests on some level what's going on. They'll be back for a break, or They have some
Right.
other there's some in-story reason why they have to leave right now.
Right. But usually they'll just say, oh, well, let's make sure we capture this moment, or let's make sure that we, get this, photo or something. They'll be trying to accommodate you in some way. And like you said, if they can't and they're really in a hurry to go on a break or something like that, then the handler will, let you know, oh, sorry, but, you can follow, Captain Jack Sparrow. He's going on a break, but you can follow him and try to get another photo or something. Or hey, he'll be back a little bit later. Please come back in, a half hour or whatever they think he might be back. And that wasn't happening at all. The other interesting thing was too is that in the beginning of this video, you can see that the handler is literally standing behind the two children here that Jack.
Yeah, we're gonna go over to this video. This is for those of you. We're gonna put the link to this in the description. There's a 4-hour, I would call it a theme park stroll kind of live stream here over on Berry Place 28. Again, go over, check it out yourself. There's more to see here than Jack Sparrow, but of course we're really excited that this is probably Johnny Depp in the park. Allegedly, Johnny Depp goes to Disneyland and gets to play. I love the idea of this, by the way. So here, I'm gonna play it here. I'm gonna turn the audio a little bit down, but you see the handler here still in their 2020 regalia. I'm so sure that this is actually Jack Sparrow. I think everybody gets the joke here. I think everybody understands that this is Jack Sparrow. And the handler here to the left. Vash, you've been awful quiet here. Are you secretly Johnny Depp here visiting us?
Have you seen us in the same place, Jonas? No, I'm taking this all in because I think this is a really, really magical moment right here. This is probably, I know Johnny loves to play the Jack Sparrow character for kids. Like he goes to children's hospitals. This is what he does. He is all about this, and this is really the safest place that he can do it because it's in a controlled environment. Obviously, because Jack Sparrow, the character, makes so many appearances in New Orleans Square, nobody really bats an eye, especially years after coming from the last film. So when you have somebody like this who loves doing it and can do it and maybe wants to do it, I can see the Walt Disney Company accommodating him, and they have in the past, as we'll get into.
Here, let's take a look here. Obviously, we have the handler acting a little bit unusual for a handler. Oh, I love these earmuffs, by the way, on this little girl dressed up as Princess Leia in the park. Love that. I like that people are walking by and seem to notice what's going on, but not quite saying what's going on. Bob. Tell us, what are your thoughts on this? There he is. He walks away. But still, he's calling out to guests.
Right. Well, the thing that got me is that as soon as he looked up and saw I had two cell phones on him. One was my streaming one. One was my vertical phone that I was trying to get a video with him. He immediately found some way to walk away and try to do the Jedi mind trick. And then I tried to keep my distance. I didn't want to try to get too close, but you could tell that this other lady and her daughter were waiting to speak with him. Actually, the characters, or sorry, the Luke and Leia wanted to talk to her again. So he walked over there to talk to, the other lady and her daughter, as well as, the kids again. And, I just kind of stayed back, and the handler actually just walked over there, and you can barely see the handler in the background by Jack Sparrow. But the thing was, he just wanted to have fun and interact with people, but I don't think he wanted people to know it was him. And that's why he was kind of stay away from me. In fact, right there, he turns around and goes away from where I was at. And I think he thought, oh, he probably got away, because up ahead here, he walks away. And then I say to him, hey, can my friend get a photo with you? He turns around. And then I think as soon as he realized it was me, he was a little disappointed. And that's why he didn't really hang around to get the photo done here. We had a great time, spending time there in New Orleans. But the fact that we thought we saw Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow, which I'm convinced now, because here's the other thing. And I think you were going to show maybe a couple of these photos, but Johnny Depp has some marks on his body that are very, noticeable features. And one of those is the fact that he has tattoos on his hands and his arms. And a lot of those tattoos, are recognizable. If he, shows them while he's actually, Jack Sparrow, people would probably recognize him right away, especially with the lightning bolt on his left hand. He's got a tattoo on his wrist. So if you look at his hands, and we did crop some of these photos for you, you can tell there's a lot of makeup on his hands, a lot. There was a lot on his face, a lot on his hands, and where the tattoo would be on his left wrist is an ace bandage. Now, it's, you know, possible that you could have a cast member that, you know, hurt their wrist and put an ace bandage, but it seems like this ace bandage is really to cover something up more than for support. There's not much of a bandage on there. It almost looks like it was wrapped around once or twice, and that's about it. To me, he was doing everything he could to conceal who he was so that people wouldn't know that he's actually Johnny Depp. But the fact that he takes the time to go out to the parks, and it's been reported many, many times, you know, he goes out to the parks to, you know, spend time with the guests. I think it's wonderful that he does things like this. So based on all the information, you know, hearing his voice, and oh yeah, here's the video where he was actually, you know, and by the way, I went on Pirates of the Caribbean a little bit later, and I was like, oh, that'd be kind of cool if he showed up on the ride, but of course he didn't. So,
you know, it's also been stated that maybe Johnny Depp is getting into fighting shape again, so that maybe he could return to do the role. I don't know how that all goes. Jerry Bruckheimer has recently stated that they're going to be moving on whether or not a particular actor is available, and everybody assumed that they were talking about Johnny Depp. But I think, you know, for a guy who has had a controversial past, and when I say controversial, it's not controversial in the way that modern celebrities are controversial. He's engaged in some activity that we would call naughty in the past, but also not anything in the modern sense. You generally get actors who talk too much about which kind of fans they like versus which kind of fans they don't like. Johnny Depp has stayed away from that kind of stuff and allowed Jack Sparrow to be somebody that everyone can enjoy, regardless of their past. In the same way that Robert Downey Jr., right, stays away from those controversial statements about fans, despite having a similar past to Johnny Depp. In that way, of course, I love Johnny Depp and I love Robert Downey Jr. and the performances that they've done for Walt Disney Company Pictures here. This is a rare moment where we get to talk about something fun and kind of magical here on That Park Place. The Walt Disney Company being a company that kind of struggles in the modern day to get out of its own way and really give the guests the things that they've looked for in the past. Bob, I want to ask you, where can people find you, and when will you be spotting Johnny Depp again on your channel?
They can find me on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, well, X now, and Facebook at BarryPlace28. I'm usually live streaming a couple times during the week. I will be streaming again at the parks on Thursday, May the 9th, because I'll be at Star Wars Night. I doubt that I'm going to see Johnny Depp at Star Wars Night, but maybe you'll see
Harrison Ford or Daisy Ridley. Who knows?
Oh, who knows? Maybe. But
or Mark Hamill coming out from Washington D.C. there.
Let's not go there. But you guys can definitely find me on YouTube, and if you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell, you always know when I go live so that you can catch my live videos. But like I said, I typically try to go to the park at least a couple times a week to do live streams. So,
awesome.
Catch me and join me.
Perfect. We want to throw this to our commenters, though. Do you think that this is Johnny Depp? I think my mind is made up on whether it's him. We'd like to throw it to our very astute audience to tell us why this is or is not the actual Captain Jack Sparrow. Have you ever encountered a performer in the parks that you think is the legitimate article there? There are stories, of course, of the guy who played Bear in the Big Blue House actually appearing in the parks and using his voice while in the bear costume at the parks back in the day. If you've got any stories like that, please share them in the comment section down below. We'd love to hear about it. And of course, consider subscribing to That Park Place for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Place News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.